In this video, we're going to cover the setup of the CN Seamless Mach 1. Before we get started, there are a few items that may come in handy when fabricating with steel which are sold separately from the Mach 1. This includes layout tools, Shade 5 safety glasses, welding pliers, strikers, scribing pens, gloves, a slag hammer, and locking pliers. You'll also notice I've set up my workpiece on a stable set of sawhorses and have some catch pans to reduce the risk of sparks while cutting inside. I've also got my oxygen and fuel bottles behind me with regulators and hoses inspected and ready to go. As you probably already know, oxyfuel is a heavily involved process, and using the CN Seamless Mach 1 will reduce the time you spend with layout tools and accessories so you can spend more time cutting. After releasing the 4 latches on the case, I can see I've got my manual, tablet, machine, and cutting attachment ready to set up. I'll go ahead and remove the tablet and set it aside for now before picking up the machine and setting it on the steel. The easiest way to carry the machine is by holding on to the base arm, which is rigidly connected to the rest of the machine. Now, I'll plug in the base machine into a 120 volt outlet, which will enable me to operate the electromagnet mounting base on the bottom of the machine. The magnet is engaged by tapping the bottom push button on the back of the machine and can be disengaged by pushing in the button again. When it's disengaged, I can pick up the machine easily and move it around before putting it down where I want to mount it, engaging the magnet, and checking to make sure the connection is rigid. Under optimal surface conditions, the electromagnet is rated for over 300 pounds of clamping force. Since the machine only weighs 30 pounds, it can be mounted on vertical surfaces or even upside down when the steel is flat and thick enough. There are structural tie downs on the machine to attach additional rigging in cases where the machine could be at risk of personal injury or damage if the electromagnet connection falters due to a disturbance in the power source. These tie downs can also have chains, straps, clamps, or other fall protection hooked to them to mitigate the safety risks in those situations. I'll disengage the electromagnet again before mounting it in the final position I want it for the next steps. When the machine is turned on, it begins hosting its own Wi-Fi signal. I'll now take the tablet and swipe up to enter the home screen. Now, I can enter the Wi-Fi application where I'll connect to the signal hosted by the machine, which is named after the serial number on the bottom plate of the machine. Once it's connected, I can swipe up and navigate to the machine controller app to see that it has entered the emergency stop state. I'll tap on the reset button to exit this e-stop and show how the physical e-stop button on the machine can be pressed at any time to re-enter emergency stop. The physical e-stop button latches, meaning after pressing it once, you'll have to press it again and tap reset on the tablet to fully exit. You can also enter e-stop using just the tablet by tapping the red stop button on the right. This won't require a physical button reset, but will still stop the machine from moving and disengage the cutting jet. It's important to note that since the magnet and preheat fuel are controlled independently, they will not be affected by the e-stop. Now I can remove the oxyfuel attachment from the case and slide the manifold onto the base machine. Once it's in place, I can flip down the cam lock on the manifold, which prevents it from coming off of the machine. Now, I'll match the taper of the oxyfuel arm to the matching taper on the base and turn the quick attach handle until it's finger tight. This modular attachment system will allow your base machine to work with upcoming attachments like plasma cutting and welding. Now, I'll secure the hoses to the base with these rubber straps to keep them in place while the machine is moving. These rubber straps can slide right over the thumb screw on the base arm and shouldn't be so tight that the hoses can't move with the arms of the machine. Now that the oxyfuel attachment is fully installed, I'll grab the quick connects from my gas supplies. The manifold has engravings indicating which side the oxygen and fuel should be connected to. On the right, the preheated oxygen can be controlled by this valve, and on the left, the preheat fuel is controlled by this valve. We will use these valves to set the neutral flame in later videos, but for now, just know the cutting jet is fully electronic and controlled by the tablet. I can go ahead and install the quick connects to the appropriate intakes on the manifold, and now the Mach 1 is fully set up. Before jumping into the tablet, if you plan to load an external file, you can download it to a USB-C flash drive and plug it in here. In the next video, we'll walk through all the different things you can design with the CN Seamless application.